Hello everyone and welcome to part 12 of my Tsukihime, A Piece of Blue Glass Moon dramatic reading. Last we left off, Shiki had just successfully defeated Vlav by cutting his line of death and killing him outright. And he was lying on the ground exhausted as a result of the Kakamemi scheme that he came... What was that? That was super weird. My stream just glitched super weird on my end. I hope that doesn't show up on the recording. That made me real sad. Anyway, so that's where we left off. So let us continue with more Tsukihime. I'm exhausted. I roll over onto my back. My heart and lungs scream with relief. My breathing, which had been stopped for so long, finally resumes. My hands can no longer move. I'm not even sure if I'm still holding the knife. The only things I can be sure of are all the pain all over my body, and the fact that as soon as the tension was released, my consciousness began to sink into the darkness. I really am fortunate. My sense of pain has been numbed as a result. The pain in my left foot, which I broke in midair, would have been unbearable otherwise. It's as if every bone in my body is being hacked off. I can't even feel the pain that had me seeing sparks before. But... shit. I don't mean to let the swear slip, but I can't help it. I don't feel anything at having survived, and I'm not left with any pride after having accomplished such a feat. I can't even call it a miracle. Now that the dust has settled, all I can do is slap my feelings together. The moon. There is a waning moon in the night sky. I wonder why. It's terribly familiar. I feel like I saw something similar in my dreams at least once. Are you okay, Shiki? What a fucking stupid question. Arcueid wanders up to me as if nothing had happened. Well, I'm alive, at least. To be honest, it feels like I'm dying. Even speaking is painful. But as someone who managed to make it out alive, it'd be unforgivable to whine about it. Jeez, you really don't need to be so humble. The one you killed may have been young blood, but it was still one of the ancestors, you know. You should be more proud of yourself. Arcueid's chest is puffed out with something like, vicarious pride. Speaking practically, there must have been some value in having killed Vlav. Even I know that much. But even so, there was nothing I could do. How far did that glacier encroach the city? At the very least, the carnage was even worse than at the hotel. And yet, again I turn a blind eye. Huh? Oh, they're not dead, you know. If you're worried about Vlav's curse, I've got it all covered. Or so I thought. What do you mean by the... As soon as I strain myself to sit up, I feel a sharp pain in my left leg that sends me sprawling. Come on now, you need to lie down. More importantly than that, I need you to explain everything. Are they really not dead? Yeah. When Vlav's principle went out of control, I coated everything I could with a convective membrane. If you'd killed him even a little bit later, I wouldn't have been able to keep it up. Arcueid readily confesses her outrageous offense. Speaking of which, at that moment, She made a strange, sudden stop before being hit by Vlav's lance. Was that not to protect herself, but rather to protect the city? Yeah, that's right. If you think about it, it's strange that I'm still alive even after that cold wave had spread out. Just as I was able to breathe in those super cold temperatures, the people of the city must have also been saved. That's why she was in such a mess. While I was only thinking of myself, she protected the entire city, despite knowing that it would put her at a disadvantage. Why would you do something like that? Didn't you say that you didn't care about humans? In a fit of unidentifiable rage, I yelled thoughtlessly at the carefree figure in front of me. Arcueid curiously raises and lowers her eyebrows, and then... Well, it's because that's what you said you wanted. She says something incredibly stupid. Did I say that? When? Where? Maybe it was... But you're kind of different. After all, you've never even drunk blood before. In that case, it's fine. Whether you're a vampire or whatever else, as long as you don't lay a hand on any of us, it's okay. I don't believe this. If you don't lay a hand on any of us, it's okay. She did it because of that? Even when she could have been destroyed with one wrong move. I laugh at the absurdity of it. I'm even more stunned than I was before. I'm stunned, but more than that, I'm more grateful than I've ever been. I close my eyes. With this, I think I can go to sleep now. My chest, which until just now had been filled with nothing but regret, is now swathed in relief. My consciousness fades away. I forget the pain in my legs and fall into a deep sleep. And then... Arcueid bonking me on the head forces me back to reality. What are you trying to pull? You can't. If you fall asleep with a wound like that, it'll be all the more painful when you wake up, right? You should close your wounds before you go to sleep. That'd be more efficient, you know? I'll be damned if that's not a sound argument. I wonder who told her that. Arcueid, can I give you some serious advice? What is it? You know, you should stop saying such absurd things. You stupid woman. That's my limit. With that, I've really used up all of my energy. My consciousness fades. Arcueid is making a fuss about something, but I don't have the strength to open my eyes anymore. Hold on, Shiki. Are you really gonna fall asleep? I already told you I was sleepy. I'm falling asleep, not dying. I'll be sure to wake up when the morning comes. Are you really sure you want to do that? It's definitely gonna hurt. Do you really not need any healing? You're gonna faint when you wake up, you know? Oh, shut up. I'm going to sleep. If you want to do something, then just do it. Huh? Well, if that's the case, then you should have told me that earlier. After hearing that cheerful voice, I feel cold fingertips. Colder than my frozen body. Touch my skin in a caring manner. At the pleasant sensation, An expression of joy overtakes my drowsy countenance. Spoils of war? Or rather, the ancestors' remains? Well, whatever. I was worried about where to throw it away anyway. Slime. What was that feeling? Did you apply something just now? Ah! Ow! Ow! The pain's coming back. It hurts a lot. No, it's itchy. Or rather, it's scary. What the hell are you... Right as I was about to ask what she was doing, I was struck by a tremendous feeling of despondency. Was that shouting just now the last remaining heat in my body? This time, my consciousness goes into a deep sleep without fighting back. It's okay. This stuff isn't bad. I'm just gonna use it to plug up where your flesh has been gouged. But I can't do much about the bones. You should definitely go to a human doctor later. The cold fingertips withdraw. Did you fall asleep, Shiki? Yeah. I really am asleep. It's been a while since I've had such a deep sleep. A sleep that wasn't so dreadful. Well, no surprise there. Your house is on the mansion on top of the hill, right? I'll find a way to bring you home somehow. I simply gaze fixedly at the white moon as I sleep. You've done well, Shiki. And thank you. I was saved tonight thanks to you. Words of gratitude that didn't seem to carry any weight in the slightest. I can't hear her voice any longer. This time, undisturbed by anyone, I fall into a deep sleep. This time for sure. A few hours have passed since the massive fire in front of the station. When it first broke out, firefighters on the scene reported it would take 2 days to extinguish due to the intensity of the blaze, but it slowed down before midnight and was extinguished soon after. It went out all by itself, like it was a living thing, a policeman said at the scene. The traffic restrictions from up here to Route 305 will be lifted by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. The highways lifted their restrictions a little while ago. We've also disposed of any remaining traces of the dead apostles that were at the scene. Shall we head to the Metropolitan Police Department, Mario-sama? Don't really wanna, but I got no choice. We don't get these kind of commotions going on too often, even back home. Ain't gonna be able to solve this just by name-dropping the old man. I gotta get out there myself and show well, you know. In that case, allow me to accompany you. Would you like to delegate command of the scene to the executors we discussed before? Oh yeah, those fuckers who were doing an undercover investigation for whatever reason. They went at it as a two-man cell, yeah? Call the second stringer of them over to my hotel and have her stay put. See if I can get some use out of her. Send the other back home as fast as you fucking can. Bother Senator enough about it and he'll deal with it right quick. As you command. I will send a letter of protest to Presbyter Noir under the name of Laurentius-sama. Alright. Guess our job's just about done then. Don't really matter who will get to clean up the scene, but... Hey, Anto! Yo, did you call for me, young master? Man, I just got a sign, too. This really isn't my day. It'd Be far-fetched just to write this off as some kind of gas explosion. Should we get some terrorist organization to make a statement?
That ain't gonna be needed. We can just force this plot's owner into taking care of the public stuff. They'll come clean if we keep at it. Our job's to retrieve the stuff that's too dangerous for us to leave here. I already mopped up most of the dead apostle traces, but I ain't satisfied with how the casualties have been treated. Get fucking to it!
Sure. No problem. But wait, hold on. That battalion you always keep with you still hasn't entered the country, right? So, I'm supposed to do this alone? Check every single corpse? To locate a bunch of half-turned people who might be infected?
You ain't just gonna locate them. You also gotta send the live ones to the church, and kill the dead ones all over again.
Ugh. I asked you to hire me because I hate doing that kind of dirty work, you know.
Get to it. I'll get the folks at the morgue cleared out. You can get this shit done before dawn.
Well, I guess all I gotta do is pull the trigger on some stationary targets. As long as I completely ignore the emotional toll it's gonna take on me, that is.
Get the car going, Carius. Gonna make the rounds at the authorities.
Yes, right away. Are there any other arrangements that you need to be made? That's probably the girl, actually.
Are there any other arrangement you need to be made? For a contamination of this scale, I can request for some immediate assistance. Ain't necessary. In fact, don't you fucking dare report this. Gotta take care of this shit and make sure it stays here. For now, we'll just gather info. I mean, we are the good guys, right? Can't let the casualties pile up for no reason. We've gotta make real sure about who our enemy is, and who'll get in the way.
Interesting. Oh, so now I'm definitively on the Arcueid route. Interesting. The gentle rays of the sun dispel my sleepiness. Though my eyes remain closed, I can feel the serenity of my surroundings seep into every pore. The air is moderately cool, yet gentle. Somehow it feels like the sky today is clearer than it's ever been. In that case, I should get up and go to school. After all, I've been so beset by misfortune these past 2 days, I almost forgot I was still a student. I open my eyes. I'm lying on the bed, and my glasses are on the nightstand. Acting on autopilot, I put them on and let my gaze wander. The sunlight streaming through the window is so vibrant that I can almost hear it calling me outside. I take a deep breath and savor the fresh air. Oh, right, it's Sunday. There's no school. The hands on the clock make a ticking sound. I can hear little birds chirping outside. I'm back. It's a morning just like any other, but now it feels exceptionally pure. Thank goodness. I don't feel this way because I'm alive, or because I was able to do something about that vampire. I'm thankful because I was able to go back to my normal life after going through that extraordinary event. Thankful that I can happily enjoy a morning like this. There's no greater reward for an insignificant person such as myself.
Good morning, Shiki-sama.
Ah! I reflexively snap bolt upright. I look over and see Hisui standing at attention at the front door. Hisui!
My sincerest apologies. It seemed you were rather unaware of my presence. so I decided to call out to you, but...
No. Well, I'm sorry as well. She startled me. I've only just woken up, and already my heart is pounding.
Huh?
But it's not even 7 o'clock.
Yes. It's a little earlier than you'd normally wake up, Shiki-sama.
I guess so. What brings you all the way here then, Hisui?
I came to wake you up. Akiha-sama wishes for you to explain to her what you've been doing these past 2 days, and has instructed me to bring you before her by any means necessary.
Akiha. The past 2 days. Explain. These cryptic words fly around inside my brain, resisting the temptation to abandon my train of thought. I take 10 seconds to piece things together. Now that I think about it, or rather, no matter how much I consider it, there's no way I can explain the events of the past 2 days. Absence without official leave, violation of curfew, and to top it off, a complete lack of communication. Akiha is scary enough when I don't come home before dusk. I shudder to think what kind of face she's making right now. Hey, Hisui? Would it be an exaggeration to say that Akiha is angry?
Who's to say? You'll have to find that out for yourself, Shiki-sama.
Okay. Hisui's tone also comes off as somewhat cold and dispassionate. If this is how it's going to be, I should have returned to the mansion even if I had to crawl. Even if I had to crawl? Wait, hold up. Before that, why was I asleep in my room?
You returned to the mansion last night a little after 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm told that Nason discovered you asleep at the front door and brought you to your room.
My mouth hangs wide open. Coming home late at night after a total radio silence, falling asleep in the entryway after being unable to make it to my room. I'm like some feral drunk who missed the last train. That woman. Treating people the same way you treat a cat or something. Arcueid's face springs to mind. Well, I guess I should at least be grateful that she carried me as far as the doorway. In any case, I understand the situation now. I'll go there right away, so if you could, well, ask Akiha to calm down as best you can. It'd be much appreciated.
I am deeply sorry. For a number of reasons, I must refuse that order.
Hisui replies, firmly. It's clear to see that my standing within the Tohno household has plummeted to the lowest of the lumpen. Since Akiha is head of the mansion, it's no surprise that I have no allies when she's upset. That being said, I should get up. It's no use staying in this bed forever. Ouch. As soon as I stand up, a tearing pain races through my legs. So that's how it is. If I were to ask myself what I should be surprised about, it'd be the fact that I'm still alive. After doing all those crazy things, of course greeting a morning like this feels unnatural.
Shiki-sama? Is everything alright? You are sweating heavily.
A copious amount of sweat is forming on my forehead. It seems that just the pain of trying to walk is enough to cause my body to react like this.
If you are not feeling well, perhaps it would be best for you to rest a while longer. You cried out a little earlier, but if I were to put in a word with Akiha...
No, it's alright. It's just a sprain. It'll go away soon. Besides, I'm much more worried about Akiha than my leg. If I keep making her wait, she'll just get even angrier. Hisui's eyes are full of reproach, as if asking me not to tell lies.
However, due to her position, she cannot press me about it. I'm really sorry, but right now I've no choice but to rely on this obvious subterfuge to make you agree. I'll head down to the lobby once I'm dressed. It won't take long, so just wait for me in the hallway. As you wish. I humbly ask that you do not push yourself too hard. Hisui bows deeply and leaves the room. I change out of my pajamas and into some casual clothes, trying to move my body as little as possible. My first weekend at home after 7 years away is already off to a rocky start. Hisui is waiting for me in the hallway. The pain in my left leg is enough to make me want to scream with every step. Although my entire body feels heavy, it's only a slight muscle ache. It's not actually all that painful. I felt around with my hands to confirm, but it seems that the cuts I received on my cheeks and shoulders from Vlav's ice shards have completely healed. The unnatural lack of any scars makes it clear that this is Arcueid's handiwork. She did say that she would treat me after all. Shiki-sama, my apologies for being so forward, but please make use of this. Huh? Hisui timidly presents a long, narrow rod. It's a cane. No, a crutch. Oh, this is perfect. Yes. I remember seeing it in the equipment room previously. I searched for it while holding onto that sliver of hope. Sliver of hope is a bit of an exaggeration. I smiled at the turn of phrase before noticing that Hisui's breathing is a little elevated. She must have hurried to fetch it during the small time window while I was changing. Thank you. To be honest, I felt as if my leg was about to fall off with every step. This is a lifesaver. Of course. I'm glad to be of service. I shift the weight of my body off of my left leg and onto my left hand through the crutch. With this, I can walk without issue. I thank Hisui once again for her thoughtfulness, and together we head for the lobby. Well, we've arrived at the lobby. I leaned the crutch up against the wall beside the door. Straight ahead, on the other side of this door, is the head of the Tohno family, Akiha-sama. She may be a year younger, yet now she impatiently lies in wait for her pitiful older brother to make excuses for her. Make his excuses to her, rather. I may as well be entering hell itself. No. Complaining won't solve anything. These are the consequences of my own actions. Regardless of the circumstances, I was absent from school without permission for 1 day, and didn't return home for 2. It's no wonder Akiha demands an explanation. In this situation, I should apologize sincerely, try to fool her, tell her the truth. So in my original playthrough, I told her the truth. But I feel like, and I might be remembering this wrong, but I feel like you went home to the mansion a lot earlier than this. I might be wrong about that. I don't know. I think I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I don't super remember. But we're gonna go with what I did before. Of course I should just tell her the truth. I don't want to deceive Akiha. And there's no way I'd be able to sneak some half-baked lie past her even if I tried. Yep, honesty is the best policy after all. I'm sure Akiha will understand if I earnestly explain all the details to her. I was a little panicked before, but I've come to my senses. Okay, here we go. From here on, it's all about freaking guts. I take a deep breath and open the door to the living room. Good morning, Nissan. It's strange, but I feel as though it's been quite some time since... Yo! Morning, Akiha. I deflect Akiha's I'm angry scowl with my smiling face, plus 50 defense, and take a seat across from her. My heel hurts a lot, but I just grin and bear it. I forgot to say it while we were in my room, but good morning to you too, Hisui. Thanks for earlier. I'll be counting on you from now on. I also expressed my gratitude to Hisui, who was standing at attention by the wall. Who would have thought that deciding to be upfront about everything would lead to such a perfect morning gambit? I better make note of this. You seem to be in very high spirits. I had thought for sure that you would have reflected on your abysmal behavior these past few days and curled up in shame, but... Of course I reflect on my behavior. I'm self-aware after all. But that's got no bearing on my good mood. I'm just happy because I get to see your face, first thing in the morning. What? Akiha freezes like a statue. Oh crap, did I upset her? I see. It seems that being too honest is also problematic. I better update my notes. Akiha-sama. It's nothing, Hisui. However, that was a splendid greeting just now. After clearing her throat, Akiha exhales deeply and composes herself. Nissan, I should warn you now. You cannot fool me with such honeyed words. Honeyed words, huh? You cannot fool me with regular words either. What I really want to hear is a report of precisely where you've been and what you've been up to for the past 2 days. So, about that, Akiha. Yes. What kind of excuse will you give me this time, Nissan? It's a long story, but I'll do my best to keep it short. For the past 2 days, I've been eradicating a vampire. You know about the spree of serial killings that have been happening in Soya, right? Well, it turned out that the killer was a vampire, but I was saved by a good vampire I happened to run into. And so, to return the favor, I joined forces with them and fought against the bad vampire. Akiha is utterly motionless. It's only to be expected. I could easily imagine her yelling. Are you making fun of me, Nissan? Something like that at any moment now. But there was no other way to say it. It's unfortunate, but it's clear she won't believe me. I'll just accept my title as the brother who makes terrible excuses. On a scale from 0 to upset, Akiha definitely seems angry, but she isn't saying anything. Hello? Earth to Akiha? Nissan, was that some kind of sick joke just now? In complete silence, Akiha peers through. No, pierces through my heart with her gaze. No, I'm not kidding. This is a joke, right? Well, I guess I can't blame you for taking it that way. She's so adamant about it that I end up agreeing with her. Very well. But in the future, please refrain from spouting such absurdities, even as a joke. Our relatives have eyes and ears everywhere. I do not wish for them to hear any rumors about you being unfit for your role as the eldest son of the Tohno family. Akiha is neither angry nor disappointed. Though her gaze may be cold, I can tell she's looking out for me. Okay, so this is similar to what happened in the original, but I feel like there was a lot more gravitas for this one. I wonder if she actually either she does believe him or she has confidence in her ability to tell lies, but she can't see a lie,
so she just is like taken aback that he's lying this well. Or like we've got Dr. Arak and the other guy, and she's probably more aware of. Well, she was already aware of supernatural shit anyway. She might believe him. I don't know. Just then, that was, how should I put it? A pure and earnest desire, as steadfast as if it were made of steel. I'm sorry. Forget what I just said. I took the joke a little too far. It is fine. I will not press you on this matter any further. After all, I am partially to blame for the fact that you did not contact us. Huh? I don't see how any of this is your fault. I was the one who took away your cell phone. If you'd had that, surely even a negligent brother such as yourself would have at least tried to contact me, don't you think? Well, no, but actually, my phone has already been surreptitiously returned. However, let this be the last time. Please refrain from such conduct in the future. After all, you are the sole male of the Tohno household. It'll be problematic if you do not start taking your role a little more seriously. If our reputation were to be damaged, it would affect the ability of the Tohno family to network in the future. Future networking? Does she mean between me and some other prestigious family? Well, surely it's not that much of an issue. It's not as though any of our relatives have taken an interest in my affairs. Besides, you're the one that's actually the successor of the Tohno family. If you're worried about that sort of thing, you could always ship me off somewhere and find yourself a man you could always ship me off somewhere and find a man more befitting of the family name. Akia has fallen silent for some reason. What's wrong? Are you not feeling well, Akia? I am fine. If you can afford to worry about me, please take better care of yourself instead. After all, you are the one with the chronic anemia, Nissan. She's right. I do collapse from anemia rather frequently. In any case, please do not leave the mansion alone too often. I'm sure you know without me saying that the city has become quite dangerous lately. People such as yourself that go about with their heads in the clouds are practically begging to be targeted by the serial killer. If that's what you're worried about, then it's okay. Those kinds of incidents will never happen again. The serial killings that had the city in an uproar. The culprit that the news referred to as a modern-day vampire. His whereabouts and identity are still unknown even to this day. The shadow of the night that menaces the people of Soya. However, all of that is now in the past. Huh? I mean that there's no more vampire. The killer's already been caught. So be it, I suppose. That is good news indeed, but... Nissan, you sure seem to know a lot about this. Yeah, I just happened to be at the scene of the arrest is all. I laugh at the ridiculousness of my own statement. So, he says this no matter which route you pick. But it was weird in the original that, like, she told her the truth and then said this, and it's still weird now. So it's weird that they didn't change this a little bit, but I guess it is what it is. I suppose it really was all just a series of coincidences. The 2 days I spent with Arcueid. So much happened that even now I feel like it was all a dream. But at least the monster that had been nesting in the city is gone. On that point at least, I think I can say with pride that everything has been taken care of. Nissan, what's going on? You look so happy all of a sudden.
It's nothing special. It's just that I finally realized that it's all over. With a smile on my face, I unthinkingly let those words slip out. It seems that this explanation was enough for Akiha. I thank her and stand up. Well, now that that's all off my chest, I'm starving. Is it alright if I go and get some breakfast? There's no need for you to ask me for permission. I don't have any interest in micromanaging your breakfast. Please go enjoy that at your leisure. If you're looking for Kohaku, she's probably preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Thank you. I'll go help myself then. I start walking toward the doorway. As expected, my left leg still hurts. Stop right there, Nissan. I thought I noticed something earlier, but now it's quite apparent. You've hurt your leg, haven't you? Well, I probably just sprained it or maybe pulled a muscle. It's not that big of a deal, so don't worry about it. Is that so? Not a big deal, you say? Akiha strides over to me purposefully. Then, without hesitating, she makes eye contact and casually... There. Ah! She stomps right on the most swollen part of my left foot. Her aim is so accurate that you'd think she'd had a sixth sense for locating injuries. Oh my, what a surprise. It would appear that even your poker face crumbles under a judicious application of pain. Of course it does! Hey, hold on. I'm the one that's surprised here. You knew what you were doing, didn't you? No, you misunderstand. My big brother told me that it wasn't a serious injury, and so I, with full faith in his words, put my best foot forward to confirm. My demonic sister smiles gracefully as she giggles. What the hell? Could she be any more transparent? This is clearly payback for me not telling her what I was doing. Acting as though nothing had happened, yet with a new spring in her step, Aki returns to the sofa and elegantly sips her tea. Well then, you are correct that this isn't a particularly serious injury. But it still won't do to just leave it alone. Nissan, I'm ordering you as the head of the family. Please have a doctor take a look at you as soon as you've finished your breakfast, regardless of how you get hurt. I can't have you just moping around in pain. Sure, that'd be great, but don't you want to ask me how I got hurt? I'm not interested. I've no doubt that the reason is utterly asinine. Besides, even if I were to ask, I get the impression you wouldn't tell me. Would you, Nissan? A blunt reply from the head of the family. If it's merely a sprain and not a gaping wound, Kohaku can take care of it. Oh, that's right. I believe Arik-sensei is around this morning as well. Ugh. I hate her. She was originally a surgeon. Kohaku for medical treatment, or Arak-sensei for surgery. Please choose whichever you please. What an unexpected turn of events. I have Kohaku. I want to pick Kohaku. I need Kohaku, okay? Not Arak. Whatever you do, don't send her at me. I can't handle that shit. I'll have Kohaku-san take care of me. Okay, I need a drink. I'll be right back. A compress and painkillers should be all that I need. Understood. In that case, please wait in your room after finishing your meal. I'll be headed out this afternoon, as there's a reception I must attend. And so while it is true that I will not be here to keep an eye on you, I would humbly request that you still show some restraint, Nissan. I'm not sure what she's so happy about, but Akiha has a relieved-looking smile on her face. Now then, my first priority is breakfast, but once that's dealt with, I'll go and get myself looked at.
Interesting. I was not ready for that.
Thank you for waiting.
Kohaku-san comes in holding a retro wooden box.
Sorry about this, Kohaku-san. Making you go out of your way when you're already so busy. Not at all. Since today's a holiday, there's not much work to be done, so please don't fret over it. And besides, you called for me yourself. As long as you'll have me, I'm always ready to be of service.
Kohaku-san makes her way over to the bed with an energetic smile on her face.
Without further ado, it's time for your examination. Please take a seat on the bed. As for the extent of your injuries...
Uh-oh, it's frozen. There we go.
I see. So it's not just your left leg, but your entire lower body, right?
Wow. You can tell that much just at a glance?
Yes, that much at least is obvious. I may not have a license, but I've been training to become a pharmacist and an osteopath ever since I was a child.
Pharmacology and osteopathy. So this is what Akiha meant when she said Kohaku deals in internal medicine. I sit down on the bed and roll up my pants so that she can begin her examination. Kohaku-san gently, palpates my leg. Every time her fingers brush across my shin, the pain makes me want to scream. And then...
Shiki-san? Is there any chance you may have fractured your leg?
Ah, so that's how it is. Though I'm glad that it's only a fracture. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I had quite a few fractures here and there. I suppose it's possible. But it's just a small one. Probably. After all, I've been able to put up with it just fine so far.
I think I'm starting to understand how Akiha-sama feels. Yet despite your face looking so calm, no. Rather, it's when your face looks this calm that you must be suffering the most, right? Please hold on for just a minute. I need to run and fetch some of my prize ointments and other sundries. You better stay right there until I come back, okay?
Kohaku-san walks out of the room with pattering footsteps. Left alone, I start to feel a strange sense of guilt. To think that even someone as cheerful as Kohaku-san would speak in such a subdued tone. Kohaku-san's treatment is more orthodox than I expected. After applying the ointment, she tapes up my heel to hold it in place, and then applies a plaster cast that extends all the way up to my shin. Hold on. There's no need to go overboard here.
There most certainly is. Just what were you thinking, treating your own body like this? Besides, how did you even get this injury in the first place? As someone who's responsible for your well-being, I cannot overlook this matter.
Well, you see...
Shiki-san, please be honest with me.
It was... a fight, more or less. Things got a little heated and we ended up coming to blows. It's a poor excuse, but there's not really any other way I can explain it. Kohaku-san seemed earnestly worried about me that I couldn't bring myself to lie to say that nothing happened.
A fight? Jeez. You ought to know better than to get mixed up in something like that. I think it's okay to be naughty, but violence is a no-go. It only leads in tears, not just for the person that's hit, but also for the person that raised their fist.
It hurts both the person that hits and the person who's hit, huh? Kohaku-san's words have an oddly poignant weight to them. Yeah, I guess you're right. I suppose that fighting does only end in pain.
Right? And yet you've gone and got yourself injured like this. I'm disappointed. I don't care what the circumstances might have been. If you keep this up, I'll have to reevaluate my opinion of you.
Yeah, I'm reflecting on how stupid I was too. I'll work hard to make sure this never happens again.
Yes, It's alright as long as you understand. Now that that's settled, I'm gonna move on and examine your upper body. So please take off your clothes for me.
Excuse me? Moving with purpose, Kohaku stands up and takes a firm grip on the shirt I'm wearing. In short, she's ordering me to get naked right in front of her. Wait a minute! You've already done more than enough. It's only my legs that hurt.
What are you saying? Your legs are certainly in poor shape, but I'd argue that your shoulders and hips are even worse off. Look,
Excuse me.
You even have some light inflammation over there.
Ow! The heck was that? A pressure point? Wait, that vicious hand technique. Don't tell me your osteopathy instructor, was that bastard from the Jinan clinic.
Indeed. I had Dr. Jinan give me a thorough rundown on your body, Shiki-san. And please, it's not vicious. Just call it some dexterous finger placement, okay?
She knocked me face down onto the bed like it was nothing. Dr. Jinan is a local osteopath who took care of me while I was living with the Arimas. Even now, she's right at the top of the list of people I owe a great deal to. That said, he's also at the top of the list of people I want to beat up someday. No, that's not the point! If it's inflamed, I can put a compress on it myself. There's no need for me to get naked.
You're embarrassed, aren't you, Shiki-san?
With a satisfied grin, Kohaku-san ignores my protests and starts to take off my shirt.
Besides, I'm already used to seeing your body. It's no big deal, so please just resign yourself to it. I even changed your clothes for you last night. I know everything, right down to the location of the mole on your back.
Now that she mentions it, I was in my pajamas when I woke up, not my school uniform.
Come on, don't struggle so much. Otherwise, the cast on your leg I worked so hard will come off.
There's not much I can say to that, but even so, being naked in front of Kohaku-san is a bit...
Jeez, I guess there's nothing for it then. I'll limit my examination to just your back. There shouldn't be anything embarrassing about that, right?
It's still more than a little embarrassing, but it's the best deal I'm going to get. If I wanted to put a compress on my back, I'd have to get someone to do it for me anyway. I guess so. In that case, I'll leave it to you. I resign myself and relax.
I'll apply some disinfectant as well, to be on the safe side. If you've been in a fight, there's a chance you'll have a few small nicks and scrapes as a result.
The antiseptic stings my skin. The past 2 days were really something. I'm sure I picked up some bumps and grazes along the way without noticing. The antiseptic stings, but it's not compared to the dizziness from my anemia. Plus, every time she dabs on some more.
Wow, so manly.
Kohaku-san praises me, which may have made it a little easier to put up with the extra pain. And with that, Kohaku-san's examination comes to a close. After the examination, which lasted for an hour and was much more professional than I had expected, I'm struck once again by how amazing this person is. Thank you, Kohaku-san. Now that the pain in my left leg is gone, I can relax and enjoy the rest of my afternoon.
Don't mention it. The pleasure's all mine. If that's all, I'll return to work for now. If the pain does not go away, or if it gets worse, please let me know right away. I'll be in the kitchen this afternoon preparing dinner.
With an energetic parting smile, Kohaku-san leaves the room. Well then, I should also figure out what to do this afternoon. Having finished lunch, it is now afternoon. Thanks to this morning's medical exam, I'm able to at least walk around without much trouble. Given that I can't go too far, how should I spend my afternoon? So let's save. I'll walk around the courtyard, the halls of the mansion, or a quick trip into the city. How fucking funny would it be if I went to the city? Yeah, you know what? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the city because there's a ghost of a chance. A ghost of a chance we might get to see Noelle. Right. I'll wander over to the plaza by the station. I'm not sure if I'll be able to go downhill with my legs in the state they're in. But if it hurts, I could just turn around. Be funny if I just fucking died. This is a bad end. After I announced that I'm heading out for a bit, Hisui difficultly came all the way to the front gate with me to see me off.
Shiki-sama, at what time do you expect to return?
You don't have to worry. I'll make sure to be back by dusk today.
Understood. Well then, please have a safe trip.
I can't fucking believe they're letting him leave. I can't believe they're letting him leave unattended. Hisui literally can't. Well, the problem is neither of them can leave the house. Like, for lore reasons. For, like, emotional character reasons, they can't. So, that kind of sucks, though, for them. Because it means they really can't interact with anybody other than Shiki or Akiha. Feeling a little embarrassed by her deference, I depart from the mansion. Before I know it, my feet have carried me all the way to the north gate of the station. That's right, we get to see the aftermath of what happened. It hasn't even been 24 hours since last night's incident. There were off-limits signs around the perimeter, along with a few guards. Actually, make that an unusually large number of guards. They're stationed such that they're only about 5 meters apart. I'm pretty sure that even a kitten wouldn't be able to sneak past all this. The news reported last night that the fire was the result of an underground gas pipe exploding. As of right now, the death toll numbers are more than 20 people. At least 50 others sustained serious injuries. The police officers are not included in those figures. Aside of that inferno, the records of the officers who bravely stood against that vampire and were reduced to ash by his flames will never be released to the public. I suddenly noticed something strangely unsettling. The perimeter of the collapsed area is tightly cordoned off, and entry is clearly forbidden. Not a single person is entering or exiting the site. I would have expected the scene to be packed with people investigating the incident, or starting work on repairs. Hold on, step back a second. There are barely any police cars here. This area is being guarded by a private security company, and there aren't many policemen in sight. It seems that the police are short-staffed as a result of the recent string of incidents. I leave the scene of the incident and return to the plaza in front of the station. I sit down on the bench and watch the crowds of people as they come and go. I wonder how long I've been doing this for. Suddenly... Oh, I just run into Arcueid, lol. Okay. I catch sight of her retreating figure, and leap to my feet only to realize that my eyes were playing tricks on me. Ah, jeez. What the hell was that? I've no reason to talk to her. Besides, now that she's accomplished her goal of exterminating Vlav, there's no reason for Arcueid to stick around this city. I'm such a fool. There's no point in whiling away my time here like this. What was I hoping to achieve by coming all the way out into the city? That's right. Our time together was always going to end this way. And honestly, to think that I'll never have anything that insane happen again,
It's good to be rid. I closed my mouth before I could finish my sentence. There's no point even uttering such a transparent lie. It'll definitely be a lot less lively without her around, but whether it's a good thing or not is hard to say. After all, I'm still left with these feelings in my heart. Among those feelings is regret, and even lingering affection. That girl was nothing but trouble, but even so, it was, well, kind of fun to spend time with her. Jeez, what am I thinking? I nearly got killed. Why on earth am I still pining after her? The wound I sustained last night is still there on my leg. I remember how it felt when it seemed like I was going to be killed by Vlav. I don't want to go through something like that ever again. It's almost evening. I should head back to the mansion. I shake my head to cool my fevered thoughts, and turn my back on these illusory visions of Arcueid. Aww. It seems closer to night than evening, but okay. My afternoon off passed without an incident. I returned to my room to loaf around a bit, and the next thing I knew, it was already time for dinner. Come on. Just hurry up and forget about her already. I shake off the thoughts of the blonde woman still lodged in my mind. I know it's a common refrain that the sun sets early in autumn, but it really does disappear far too quickly. I guess I was so absorbed in my insignificant thoughts that I lost track of time. Akiha and I sit in the dining room. Kohaku-san waits attentively behind her, and Hisui is likewise standing a little ways behind me. The dinner Kohaku-san had prepared for us consisted of a series of courses, culminating in a main course of Wagyu beef. Maybe it's one of the customs of the Tohno residence, but Akiha spends the meal in utter silence, a prim expression on her face as she conveys each morsel of food with her lips. Make sure I get this set up correctly. There we go. Akiha had returned to the mansion maybe an hour or so prior. Apparently, some sort of unforeseen problem had cropped up, and she had to go run it to the ground. Hisui, just checking, but is there some sort of rule that we're not allowed to speak to each other during dinner? I ask Hisui in a whisper, trying not to be heard by Akiha. No. All members of the Tohno family are free to talk amongst themselves. So does that mean Akiha's silence is simply because she's in a bad mood? My deepest apologies. It is difficult for me to say for sure. This is purely speculation, but perhaps it is the case that Akiha-sama is simply fatigued. I see. I guess you're right. She's always a little sullen. But this right here is a new level of ill temper. Dealing with that crisis must have taken a lot out of her. I nod earnestly and sympathize with her. I can't say this out loud, but the best thing I can do for my sister after her weekend has been cut short by some unexpected crisis is to just let her rest. There's no reason for me to go out and put my foot in it by bringing up a topic. Let sleeping Akiha's lie and all that. I heard you, Nissan. I will have you know that I'm not at all tired as a result of this afternoon's inspection. In this house, we simply consider silence to be golden during our meal. Akiha glares at me. It's only natural that she'd notice me talking to Hisui, but the fact that she could even make out what we were saying is disconcerting. Her hearing must be insanely sharp. Then again, I suppose that too now is a thing of the past. If you really wish to talk about something, or want to chat about the events of the day, then I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. I nod my head in understanding and resume eating. Perhaps a result of having a light-hearted breakfast, followed by a light lunch, by evening I had developed quite the appetite. Though despite that, I'm finding tonight's menu a little difficult to stomach. Not just because of the beef tenderloin and foie gras, but also because of the deep red sauce forcefully reminds me of blood, and by extension, all of the events that led up to yesterday. An unexpected murder, an impossible reunion, an unbelievable monster. Weighed down by the heavy loss of life, their outstretched fingers, the touch of death, and finally, what I knew would naturally follow after we defeated that vampire. Parting ways. How pathetic. To sink this deeply into my reverie. My fever hasn't abated at all, has it? And? How did my dear Nissan, who commiserates with my working life, spend his afternoon off? Huh? Oh, you mean me? Well, this afternoon I went out for a little stroll. I went back to my room and spent the rest of my day lying in bed. Is that, well, your anemia acting up again? No, I was just lost in thought and the day slipped away from me. My body's not in a bad shape, and even my leg isn't causing me much trouble. So in other words, you wasted your time doing nothing, didn't you? Please do not boast your idleness so openly. I may not think anything of it personally, but if others were to hear you say such things, you'd surely become a laughingstock. Akiha's reaction is merciless and leaves no room for rebuttal. But be that as it may. It's true that if someone heard me say that, they may think I'm a deadbeat. Or rather, it actually was pretty lazy of me, I'll admit. But what do you mean when you say you don't personally think anything of it? Could it be that her strict attitude is just for show, and she's actually benevolent when it comes to her immediate family? Why don't I think anything of it? Isn't it obvious? It's because I expect absolutely nothing from you in the first place. I've been under no illusions about what kind of person you are from the very beginning, Nissan. I see. What an enlightened perspective. You can't be disappointed if you never had any hopes to begin with. I guess this is how it feels to be at a loss for words. And that was a great meal. Thank you for the meal. I have lessons to attend to after dinner, so I must take my leave. Nissan, if you truly regret your behavior, I suggest that you return to your room early tonight and focus on your studies. Akiha gets up from her seat and leaves the dining room. I believe that tonight's lesson is a violin recital she planned earlier this evening. Just how much of an overachiever is she? I'll definitely develop an inferiority complex at this rate. Shiki-san, fight! Don't let Akiha-sama beat you! The mischievous maid pumps her fists in support as she follows Akiha out of the room. After dinner, I took a quick bath and headed back to my room. I take a seat at the desk, furnishing my room. As Akiha says, I better make up for the fact that I spent a day idling around. I spread my textbook out across the surface of the desk. Wow, dude, my fucking pronunciation is fucked today. Holy shit. Sorry about that. Despite all the unbelievable things that have happened to me recently, at the end of the day, I'm still a second-year high school student. I have a massive pile of work that needs to get done. Well, I have a bunch of work I should be doing, but no matter how hard I try, I can't concentrate at all. The only thing I can think about is the figure of the woman who no longer needs me, and who I really ought to forget. Man, I'm calling it a day. I give up, lie down on my bed, and stare aimlessly at the ceiling. It's okay. Tonight will be the end of it. The last 2 days were full of excitement, for better or worse. You'd have to be crazy to forget something like that easily. I just needed a day to cool off, that's all. I'll just lie here doing nothing, and let my consciousness drift. In order to keep my memories at bay, and to dilute down the impression she left on me, I'll consign myself to nothingness, and let the hours slip away. If I do that, all of the events that have transpired will surely become nothing more than fragments of the past. Eventually, my eyelids begin to droop. My consciousness slowly fades. My senses are subsumed by the unbearable darkness. And just like that, the day that went by so peacefully comes to an end. Lying there in bed, wondering if I'm simply trying to fool myself, I sink into an uncertain slumber. Dream sequence. No! Wow. Alright. So, we are going to stop here, obviously. We actually get to start, or stop and start at a chapter, just like the old days. So, thoughts so far. Well, this is a nice reprieve after the action-packed filled chapter of the previous one. Golly. My only concern is that I think that the Arcueid route had a little semi-mechanic where you had to make sure that Shiki wasn't doing too many things. That you were making decisions that involved rest. Because if you did too many things, it would result in an automatic bad ending. So I wonder if going to the city made that more likely or something, and that might lock me out of certain decisions. That would make me really sad. But other than that, it was cool to see Kohaku again. She's always fun. Thankfully, Dr. Arc was optional. Fuck that character. Fucking trash ass. Although, I don't know, she probably would have given me some extra lore about stuff, but I don't care. I don't like her. Okay, so if you're watching the VOD, thank you for making it this far. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BerserkChip. Follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/BerserkChip. That's BerserkChip with 2 P's because I forgot the password of my previous account. And follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/BerserkChip, where I post stream highlights and schedule updates. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment. I love reading comments. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.